Hey everybody, it's Lindsay. Week 2 is done. Thank goodness. It was a rough week for me. I had my first open water clinic. Also had a stomach bug for 2 days. I had a husband who was traveling for majority of the week, so I was juggling both of my toddlers by myself for a while. But we made it through, right? I survived. I'm here. But I want you to know that there's a major war going on up here. I knew at some point this would happen, right? Physical challenges sometimes become mental. And I feel like the mental game has officially started for me. I don't know about you and your training, if that's hit you yet, but if it hasn't, just be prepared for that moment. And you'll know when it comes, because the first thing you think you want to do is quit. And you challenge yourself. You definitely question your sanity. Why am I doing this? Well, I can tell you, you're not doing this because it's easy, right? You didn't sign up thinking, oh, this is going to be a walk in the park. I'm just gonna have to swim, bike, and run in the park. No, I mean, you signed up because you knew you were strong enough. And so I really had to keep telling myself that over and over again. So let's start with the open water clinic. You guys, so I had been training in my pool here at my home. It's a 12.2 meter pool. So I seriously have just been doing laps back and forth. I had dipped my toes in the open water, and obviously I've swam in lakes when I've been with friends, out on their boats, but nothing compares to swimming with 50 to 75 triathletes in open water. And come game day, we're gonna have maybe 1,000+ females that we're swimming with in that open water, right? So it was kind of a game changer for me. And like I said, I think that's where the mental game started. Because for one, I got in the water and I felt like, okay, I'm comfortable swimming. I'm an all right swimmer. I've never struggled with it, but I've never swam competitively. Never. It's always been a leisurely thing for me. But as soon as I got in the water, I noticed real quick, okay, you've got, like I said, I had at least 25 to 30 people swimming alongside me, in front of me, and back of me. And on top of that, I can't see my strokes. I can't see my hands in front of me. Visibility is incredibly low. I am sitting here trying to sight the buoys in front of me, and I can't see that because there's so much splashing. I make it about 140 yards, which actually was around the buoys once, right? And all of a sudden, my goggles just fogged up and the panic hit. And this was a panic that I didn't anticipate. I really have never experienced that kind of panic before in my life. And I've suffered from anxiety and depression majority of my adulthood. But that type of anxiety is something so incredibly new to me. The good news is that before the clinic started, we were matched with different coaches based on our swimming level, right? So you kind of had your beginners, your really hadn't swum at all, and then you had your advanced folks. So I was in the beginners group, and honestly, one thing that we talked about was it wasn't a matter of if you panic, what are you going to do? It was when you panic, what are you going to do? And at the time I was like, I'm not really too worried about this. But like I said, now it makes sense because it wasn't an if, it was when. Because you never know what is going to happen. And like I said, my goggles just fogged up. I stopped, I tried to roll on my back and kind of just do the backstroke, and water shot up my nose. Well, then what happened? I panicked even more. So I flipped around, I held up my hand, and I waved that lifeguard down because I knew my heart rate got up so fast, my legs felt like bricks. It felt like I was just going to go under. And so I had to just recognize the fact that, hey, look, I need help. And I raised my hand. I had the lifeguard come over on their kayak. They let me hang on for about a minute or so until I was able to calm myself down and collect myself. And then I took off again. The good news is that the win for KC is that, from what I hear, there are kayaks, there are buoys along the route. And so what's great about that is that you and me, we don't need to have fear in what happens if we need to take a break. There's going to be opportunities for us to stop and collect ourselves if we need to, if our bodies are saying you need a break. So that's the good news, right? So like I said, that was one thing that I really, really was happy with, that the coach actually tried to prepare us for that. What are you going to do? Are you going to get on your back? Are you going to doggy paddle? Are you going to breaststroke? What are you going to do? So it's really having a plan. So I'm going to work on that. Another thing I didn't realize was how tired my legs and my arms were going to get in that open water. Practicing in a pool is completely different. You don't realize how much you push off of the pool for momentum when you're doing your laps. If you are doing that, like I was, try not to. Because honestly, once you're in that open water, there's no momentum. It's all arms, and you're doing it all yourself. The other thing that one of the coaches said right away, and I felt pretty comfortable with this, but I want to make sure that everybody else knows this, that if you're not comfortable putting your head in the water, and if you're not comfortable breathing out of your nose or blowing out of your nose when you're in the water, when you have your head down, you may as well not even get in that water. You need to master those things. And that's something you can practice in your sink. That's something you can practice in a pool. And then you need to be comfortable doing it in open water. So it's really mastering those breathing techniques and knowing that you're going to be okay putting your head in the water. Yes, I've heard of people swimming with their heads above the water, but I can't even imagine how uncomfortable that is. And not only that, like I said, if panic hits, you're already going to be exhausting yourself so much just keeping your head lifted, that's not going to help your situation. So try to master those breathing techniques. Make sure that when you're in that open water, you are comfortable putting your head in, that you are comfortable blowing out of your nose. So those are my major takeaways. But most of all, I want you to know, like, I have the mental game messing with me right now. I want to quit. I'm not going to quit. And it's ironic because I wrote a message to you guys that was actually sent by the Win for KC committee earlier this week, or early last week. And in it, I said what we're doing isn't easy. And there are going to be times where we want to quit. And we can't. We can't. We're strong and we're unstoppable and we can do this. So I'm going to keep telling myself that because I honestly believe that. So I think it's kind of funny. I did try to position this next to some open water since that's what we were talking about in this diary. But again, happy training. Be safe out there. It's been so hot in Kansas City. So, and all across the country actually, just really, really unpleasant, humid and hot weather. So just be safe out there. Stay hydrated. Make sure that you're drinking tons and tons of water. Thanks again, guys. Happy training. And we'll see you next week.